Hi and welcome. Here is Aditya Novotny, the 6 nights of fate in preparation for the 12 essential holy nights from winter solstice, 21st of December, till 6th of January, actually, 2024. So, what is this about? What are the holy nights? And what are the nights of fate or nights of lot or oracle nights? The year comes to its darkest period in the northern hemisphere of our planet by the end of November. This is when the Advent time starts, a time of turning inwards. In Christian tradition, we are lighting 4 candles on the 4 last Sundays before Christmas. And this is traditionally a time when all dance stops. And then we go into winter solstice, the Christmas holidays, and the 12 holy nights from 25th of December till including 5th of January, the 6th of January being Epiphany, the day of the three wise men from the east. And these days are a portal where right after winter solstice, the inner world opens up, and there is a connection between the days and the months of the next years. And this is something thousands of years ago, farmers, people who lived in nature, Celts, Germanic people, they have figured that out, that the 25th of December corresponds to January. 26th of December corresponds to February. 27th of December corresponds to the coming March. And that's quite an extraordinary find because it's not only a weather predicting tool, which is quite accurate, but it also shows other energies, other events, whatever happens to you during those 12 essential holy nights. And why do I call them not just holy nights, but essential holy nights? Because we are using essential oils in order to magnify the experience. And this is something that is coming up. I'm giving the 12 essential holy nights already in the 5th or 6th year, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. It's the 6th year. People love it. We have in the German edition over 1,600 participants, in the English edition over 500 participants. Why is that? Why is the international worldwide edition smaller than the German speaking one? Well, because I'm a German speaker, I have mainly a German speaking audience. However, it's a real journey, a real adventure. And this year, for the first time, I present something that has been basically lost in tradition. And these are the 6 nights of fate. And I will make the picture here bigger. These nights of fate are oracle nights, nights of lot. And they start on November 24th, in the night of November 24th to 25th of November, when the sun goes down. So basically from sunset on the 24th to sunset on the 25th is that first night of fate, which is attributed to St.Catherine of Alexandria. Before I go into the 6 nights, to give you an overview, let me just speak a little bit about what is it about, nights of fate, nights of casting the oracle or asking the oracle or casting a lot. Well, lot is an old word. It comes from los in the Germanic languages, and it means your fate, your lot. That's your lot, as they say. And also the word lottery comes from the word lot, which is another word for fate. And these nights, these 6 nights, first night, 24th to 25th of November, is showing you how you are centered within yourself, how you are with yourself and by yourself. Are you reflecting yourself? Are you in your strength? And this is what we are looking for in this night from 24th to 25th of November. We are looking for dreams. We are looking for thoughts, ideas, emotions, energies, and also things that happen during the day till the sunset of the 25th that are indicative, symbolically or actually indicative of certain developments. St. Catherine of Alexandria was a very strong woman. And she grew up in a time when women didn't have such a strong standing. She lived sometime between the 3rd to 4th century after Christ. Some other sources said 5th to 6th century, and some other sources say she didn't even exist. She's just a legendary figure. I will go into that later. Now, before we go into the story of St. Catherine and then we do some real oracle work, and I will not ask you to cast runes or I Ching sticks, or for that matter, draw tarot cards. I believe in human consciousness. I believe in the human spirit, and that we ourselves, without additional tools, can gauge or gauge whatever is going to happen. If we use certain techniques, and I will show you one of these techniques today. However, I found in the last 15 years or so that the use of essential oils can greatly magnify these spirit gifts that we have. Like native Indians use herbs, use holy smokes, and like essential oils actually have come quite strongly to the modern consciousness because they have frequency, they have a scent, they go to various brain centers, but they also work on our ethereal body, our energy body, with those molecules that only essential oils have, ethereal molecules, which is this stuff that is really penetrating and going everywhere. So let's look at the 6 nights of Lot, or 6 nights of fate. Before we're looking at St. Catherine and the fascinating story of this powerful woman, and then we are going to do the divination, if you so wish to call it. I rather call it a meditation that enables you to be an antenna for things that are about to come as the year comes to an end. First night, as I said, reflection, going inwards, finding your inner strength. Second night, the night of St. Andrew, 29th to 30th of November. The quality of this night is all about your love and your connection situations. Third night is the night of St. Barbara of Nicomedia. She is actually in a triplets basically with St. Catherine and also with St. Margareta of Antiochia. So the third night, the night of Santa Barbara, is 3rd to 4th of December, and she's all about hope and protection and predicting or giving you a foreshadowing of what's in store for you in terms of hope and protection in the coming year, and more specifically in the 12 holy nights that precede the new year. Then we have the 4th night, and that's the night of St. Nicholas. And in the European tradition, St. Nicholas is basically Santa Claus. And he was a saint, he was a powerful man, and he's actually quite for justice, let's say, for faith, but also for freedom. So he doesn't judge you in that way. Still, he is checking you out. Where is your karma, basically? And this is what we have in our tradition presented to children, that on the 5th of December, Santa Claus comes in the form of St. Nicholas. He brings another fellow with him called St. Ruprecht, or in the Alpine region called Krampus. Krampus, who is like rather a demon, like a devil, who is punishing the children that were not good. But the interesting thing is that that night really is like a reckoning. And you might feel it in your dreams in the night from 5th to 6th of December. Karmic things, fateful things that you have not come to terms with yet and that you may be faced with in the coming year. So basically, it's about fate or freedom. So, are you a slave of fate, or do you achieve freedom from these karmic connections? Then we have the fifth night, and that's the night of Saint Lucia. Saint Lucia from 12th to 13th of December. This is actually when the year is really the darkest in the northern hemisphere in that particular night. It's like 9 days before winter solstice. And here, really, we go into the dark, we go into the abyss, we go into the black night of the soul. And interestingly, here we have a saint who is called Lucia for light, Saint Lucy, you might call her. And she actually brings that inner light into the darkness, illumining the way. And then finally, just before winter solstice, we have the night of St. Thomas, 20th to 21st of December. And his sphere of influence is basically bringing things to an end and starting them anew. It's really the end of the year, just before winter solstice. And then the energies of the new year are coming, and it's a new beginning. So this is quite amazing how the whole year energetically is structured, how this has been observed for thousands of years, actually, by pagan people, by people who lived more connected with nature than we do nowadays. And they were really observing some natural laws, some principles that determine our lives, but also the life in general, the weather, and the energies, how they are unfolding. And this particular time of the year is a very important time to prepare for the new year. So I will hold live streams. This is the first live stream of 6 for free to give you all that you need to know, all that you wish to know. And I will give you in each live stream also an exercise how you can really take the most from these particular nights. So here we have St. Catherine, St. Catherine of Alexandria, very, very powerful woman. And you see her here with her insignia. One is a broken wheel, and there's a special story about that broken wheel. The wheel is, of course, a sign of the wheel of karma, the wheel of life, and the wheel of fortune. Why is it broken? You find out. Then we have, of course, the sword. The sword, on the one hand, because she was beheaded with a sword. On the other hand, because the sword also stands for differentiation, for viveka, for determining right from wrong, for being non manipulative or non manipulatable, so to speak. And she was amazing, highly intelligent. She stood facing 50 and more bright men, the most intelligent men of her era, and she predominated them. She lorded it over them, not in a negative way, but in a very positive way. You'll hear the story. So her mind, her spirit was like a sword as well. And then we have other insignia. One is the cross, which is not depicted here. Then another one is the book, which has to do with wisdom. And what we see here is the palm leaves. And the palm leaves as a symbol of life, but also of other things. So let me go a little bit more into it. In case you like to know more about this fascinating woman, I give you the whole background, and then we come to the exercises of divination, of figuring out what the signs tell us in this particular night. My presentation doesn't move, funnily. So let's stay there where we are. And I'll open another page. So Catherine of Alexandria was a beautiful, beautiful woman who was desired by many men. She was venerated as a martyr in the Catholic and also the Orthodox Church, and belonged to the group of the Virgins Capitales, Virgines Capitales, the four great holy virgins of Christian tradition. Holy Catherine is part of the 14 holy emergency helpers, and she helps particularly with problems of the tongue and with problems of speaking. But she's also the patron saint of learning, of universities, of philosophical faculties, and she is the patron saint of many churches. According to Christian tradition, she lived in the 3rd to early 4th century and under the Roman Emperor Maxentius. Some others say under Maximinus, and some others say again under Maximian, she suffered the martyrdom. According to present research, she's just a legendary figure. The legend of St. Catherine probably goes back to another great woman called Hypatia of Alexandria. And she was a philosopher in the tradition of New Platonic philosophy, which has also some mystic aspects. And this is like nearly 1,000 years, like 850, 900 years after Plato lived. Quite interesting, brilliant woman. And she was a pagan. And she was actually killed by the Christians. Now, why is Catherine, St. Catherine, a Christian killing the pagans? It's like a complete turnaround. There's a very typical reason for that, and that is that Christianity in the early days, whenever there was a power place where Celts or Druids or Germanic people built their temples, their holy places, then as soon as the Christians would come, they would build a church on that place. Also, winter solstice was an important celebration of the year for the Germanic people, for the Celts, for Nordic people, for the Slavic people, and so on. But of course, them being pagan, they were put down, and church took over, Christianity took over, and they installed Christmas, the festival and celebration of Christmas, instead of winter solstice. So they did with many personalities that twisted the story a little bit around, so to give the Christian heroes the possibility to shine. In this case, even a woman who probably did not even exist, but was a complete reversal from a non-Christian pagan philosopher with a mystical touch, Hypatia. And she was murdered by Christians in 415, 416, Hypatia. Now let's go back to Catherine. According to legend, even though she maybe did not exist, she was a blessed virgin, extremely beautiful, and she had very deep inner experiences with Jesus. And she liked to wander in the woods and had unions, spiritual unions with Jesus. At one point, she married Jesus inwardly. And while she was roaming in the forest, she came across an eremit, a man who lived totally in the woods. I looked that word up for you because I'm not sure if it's the correct English word. Yeah, a recluse, a hermit. And that hermit with shining eyes and very open eyes, perceptive eyes, he noted that she was not of this world. St. Catherine was not of this world. She was just wandering around looking for something else that is not of this world. And although she was so beautiful, no man could get her because she resisted any advances by any man. So, got to find my window again. It's late in the evening here. I beg your excuses. It's 2 in the morning. And yeah, here it is. Wonderful. See you again. Oh, wow. Lurleen Barnett. Very nice. You heard about her, but not in this depth. So we go deeper now into St. Catherine because it's really an amazing story. So she was the extremely beautiful daughter of the pagan king Costus and his wife Sabinella from Cyprus, who lived 300 after Christ in Egyptian Alexandria. And this hermit basically led her to the Christian belief and led her to have this spiritual union with Jesus. Now, the Emperor Maxentius, who was a pagan and who regularly killed Christians and let them die the death of a martyr, he again had condemned quite a number of Christians to death. And Catherine came from the forest, came from her union with the Christ, was strengthened and fortified in her spirit. And she stood right in front of the emperor and said, "Why do you not come over to become a Christian? Why do you not convert? Why do you have to kill all these people? Why do you have this kind of sacrifice of God-loving people?" Now, Emperor Maxentius didn't like that straightforwardness, especially think about the time 300, 400 years after Christ. That was not the time when women were typically very self-confident, facing men, not to speak of facing the emperor like that. And he actually told all his main philosophers and learned people, his pandits, 50 of them, to engage in a discussion with her and basically to convince her that she was wrong and that she should convert to paganism again. And in this discussion with the brightest 50 philosophers and pandits of King Maxentius, Catherine was so influential and so brilliant that actually these 50 learned men converted to Christianity. And they didn't manage to convert her to paganism. Now, when they returned to the emperor had them all killed, had them all burned actually on the pyre. Now, the wife of Emperor Maxentius was really impressed by this. And this emperor's wife, Faustina was her name, went into the prison cell where they kept Catherine and tried to talk to her heart and tried to get her to paganism. But even the empress, Faustina, the wife of Emperor Maxentius, was converted to Christianity. What happened? The emperor killed even his own wife, Empress Faustina. Now, Catherine was put in dark, tiny cell, really like very lonely. And she didn't have anything to eat. And she got heavy, let me look that one up. She got heavy thorns, basically, or spikes that were put on her. She was bleeding. But the interesting thing is that when she was bleeding, she was not bleeding blood, she was bleeding milk from her wounds. And she had some protection from an angel who came and who took care of her wounds. And a white dove came regularly to this little cell and brought her some food. Even Jesus Christ himself came to commune with her and strengthen her spirit, and prepare her for her martyrdom. Now, the martyrdom would happen on a wheel. She was actually attached to a wheel, and it was not really just one wheel, it was four wheels. Two wheels moving down and two other wheels moving up. And St. Catherine was to be put between these four wheels, and she was basically stretched to death. Also, on these wheels, there were spikes and saws, and it was really a terrible thing. Now, Catherine, out of understandable fear and desolation, she prayed very strongly. And an angel came who destroyed the wheel. This is why you see her pictured always with that broken wheel. That's an interesting symbol because also it could be the wheel of fortune, it could be the wheel of karma, it could be the wheel of life that is being broken. And at the same time that that wheel, that was the torture instrument for St. Catherine, broke, 4,000 pagans near and far died, which is, of course, very hard to believe, but that's the legend. Nonetheless, she was killed by beheading with a sword. That's why sword is one of her symbols. The other reason, as you remember, is her differentiation power, her viveka, decide right from wrong, decide essential from non-essential, decide or determine divine from undivine. So she couldn't be manipulated. And her mortal remains were brought to the mountain Sinai. And 500 years later, the remains, her relics, were found there on Mount Sinai in today's St. Catherine Monastery. They are kept. And from the tomb, even today, still oil is coming out. Oil is leaking out that is believed to have healing powers, which is quite an interesting story. As I told you, modern research says no, she didn't exist. She was actually basically a Christian version of Hypatia, the pagan philosopher, mystic philosopher lady who lived a little earlier than her. And Hypatia was an ancient mathematician, astronomer, astrologer, and philosopher. She was teaching in Museion of Alexandria, and as a representative of a non-Christian philosophical mystic tradition. And these new Platonic people, they had some really interesting rites, like they were sleeping for a long time, kind of a trance sleep to get a higher states of consciousness. She was, of course, not liked at all by the Christians. During a power struggle with Prefect Orestes, the Patriarch Kirill of Alexandria took 500 monks who were actually more like warrior monks out of the desert in the city. And these were, of course, Christian warrior monks, and they, all 500 of them, which is again another unbelievable number, took that old philosopher woman. At that time, she was already 60 years old, brought her to the church Caesarion, stripped the clothes of her so she was naked, and killed her with glass and with bricks. And then they cut her corpse and burned her corpse. So that's a real gruel thing, but that's the historical person, Hypatia, who really existed. Now let's go back to St. Catherine, who was the legendary version of Hypatia, turned Christian, turned holy. Relics of St. Catherine, as I told you, were kept at the Basilica of the St. Catherine Monastery in Sinai, at the foot of Jebel Musa, and her remains were actually found in the 8th or 10th century. The cult of St. Catherine is known since the 7th century. So she was an amazingly popular saint, even though she probably didn't even exist. For centuries, was one of the most popular saints of the Catholic, of the Anglican, and of the Evangelic Church. And her festival day is 25th of November, which is why the night from 24th of November to 25th of November is St. Catherine's night. Then, of course, they excommunicated her in the 15th, 16th century. They actually took her out of the calendar of the saints. In 1969, that again was confirmed that she didn't exist and she was not a saint. But then, interestingly, by 2002, the Vatican put her back into this collection of Christian saints. Why? Because people even loved her so much to this day. Now, in medieval belief and in folk belief, there is a saying that goes, Catherine stops the dance. Catherine stops the dance. And this is because the 25th of November is like the last day before Advent starts, these last 4 Sundays before Christmas. And this is analog to the fasting time before Easter, a time of going inward, a time of reflecting, a time of atoning yourself, coming to terms with yourself. It's a so-called closed time of preparation for winter solstice and for Christmas. And in this closed time, dancing festivals were forbidden. So from St. Catherine's holiday or festival day onwards, it was not allowed to dance anymore till beginning of January. Then again, dance festivals could happen, and then again, the fasting period would start, and then all the way till Easter, it was again forbidden to dance. She's the patron saint of Canton Wallis in Switzerland, of the capital city of Sion, as well as of a number of cities in Switzerland, Austria, Germany, and Poland. And she is the protectress of maidens, virgins, and also married women, as well as of philosophers, theologists, learned men, teachers, students, lawyers, notary publics, as well as a whole number of regular blue-collar jobs. She's also protecting churches, universities, and schools, as well as libraries and hospitals. She has the special power, and she is called upon when people have a migraine, and she takes away the migraine. She preserves and protects the crop, and she is especially in charge of problems with the tongue and with speaking, as well as finding people who were drunk. And I don't mean drunk with alcohol. I have to find that one also. Drunk in water, a drowning victim who were drowned. Okay, so it's a big difference between drunk and drowned. All right, so iconography. She's always shown with the attributes of the wheel, the broken wheel. Again, this connotation with the wheel of fortune, with the wheel of life, with the wheel of karma that is broken. The cross, showing her affiliation with the Christ. The book, showing her learnedness. Then she had a crown as well. And she had that twig of the palm tree, and she had the sword. And the palm twig and the wheel and the sword were attributes of her martyrdom, while the crown was a symbol of her victory over the senses, victory over the flesh, as she kept her blessed virginity all the way till the end. Now, there is a very interesting poem, and it rhymes in German. It won't rhyme in my translation. And that is Saint Margaret with the worm, and Saint Barbara with the tower, and Saint Catherine with the wheel. These are the 3 holy maidens. Saint Margareta with the worm, what is meant with the worm, a snake, a dragon, a symbol of the inner power, the Shakti power, which of course, she being a powerful woman, and she was also later beheaded because she was a wise woman. She was a woman with mystical powers, with inner powers. And she was dealing with that snake energy or dragon energy or kundalini energy. And that's why even this poem says Saint Margaret with the worm, Saint Barbara with the tower. She was a very powerful woman towering over others. She was feared. And St. Catherine with the wheel, where she was actually, they tried to kill her and the wheel broke and she couldn't be killed by that. These are the three holy maidens. Now let's go into looking, what does this all mean? We have holy women, wise women appearing throughout history. And by the way, here you see them, St. Margaret, in the middle, of course, St. Catherine and St. Barbara, together with 14 emergency helpers, as they were called. They were all virgins. And they were very pure and very powerful. And none of the worldly rulers could rule it over them. When we look at holy women, especially three holy women, we first think of thousands of years ago, the Hindu mythology of Durga or Maheshwari, God the Mother coming down and manifesting Lakshmi, the goddess of fertility and wealth and beauty. Then Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom, learnedness, and also music and science. By the way, Saraswati would very well fit with St. Catherine. And then, of course, Kali. Kali, the goddess, the female goddess representing God, the power, and killing all the demons. Why am I mentioning Durga and Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Kali? Because with the three holy virgins from Greece and Rome, Mediterranean area, we have a very similar story. The mother is Sophia, the wisdom. The daughter number one is Fides, Fides, the faith. Daughter number two is Spes, the hope. And daughter number three is Caritas, the love. Caritas, love, care, in the English language comes from caritas. So Fides, faith, Spes, hope, and Caritas, love are the daughters of Sophia of wisdom. And they are manifested women like Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Kali, although they are called goddesses. Then we have the three holy maidens whom we talked about, who you see in the picture on the right, Catherine of Alexandria, Margareta of Antiochia, and Saint Barbara of Nicomedia. Well, Antioch or Antiochia, not sure. And they are here in the group of the 14 holy helpers. Then we have the three Marys, and this is quite interesting when we talk about essential oils. Because as you might know, Mary Magdalene, who was an Isis priestess or Isis priestess, and who was great in anointing sick people with holy oils, essential oils, anointing oils, and who even anointed Jesus, the feet of Jesus, with spikenard oil, later on anointing even his head. After the Last Supper, just before he was crucified, she was an initiate in all the rites, in knowing what to do with oils on a very high level. And they had to flee when Jesus was gone, when he ascended to heaven. Then basically the male group around St. Peter really took over. They didn't like Mary Magdalene already while Jesus was around, but Jesus kept protecting her. Remember maybe the situation when they said, oh, she's a prostitute, she's a bad woman, and they wanted to start throwing stones on Mary Magdalene. And Jesus spake, leave her alone. Whoever amongst you is without guilt shall throw the first stone. And then, of course, nobody threw a stone. Also, in another instance, that was when she was massaging the feet of Jesus with spikenard oil. Judas, of all people, spoke up and said, "Why does this stupid woman waste the precious oil? We have so many poor and sick people. We should use the oil on them." But Jesus stopped Judas and said, "Let her do her good work. You will not have me forever, but you will have the sick people and the poor people for a very long time, and you can still help them." So Jesus knew already that he would be gone soon. And quite interesting that Judas even dared to say these words like waste the spikenard oil on the feet of Jesus himself. Anyway, so Mary Magdalene had to flee. St. Peter was building his power base, which later became the Vatican. And of course, he himself was crucified upside down in Rome, which is maybe the irony of the whole story, but still what he built, the church that he built, exists to this day. And back then, as probably even now, it was not so friendly towards women. So Mary Magdalene fled, and she fled with Sarah, who you might know is a very important name. She fled with Mary, the sister of Lazarus, Martha, the other sister of Lazarus. If you remember the story, the two sisters, where Jesus is the guest and Mary just sits at his feet, and Martha is preparing food in the kitchen. And after a while, it gets too much for Martha. And she comes out and says, "Oh, Jesus, why can you not tell her to help me cooking?" And Jesus said, "Mary has chosen the good part, and it will not be taken away from her. You, Martha, go back in the kitchen and cook." This was not verbatim from the Bible, but this was the gist of it. Quite interesting. So basically, Mary, the one sister of Lazar, was sitting at the feet of Jesus, venerating him like a Bhakta yogin or like a Bhakta yogini. And Martha, she was doing all the work. She was like a Kama yogini. And Jesus gave preference to the Bhakta, to the devotee. Quite interesting. Now also, Mary Magdalene fled with Mary Jacobus or Mary Jacobi and Mary Salome, as well as with Lazarus, Sidonius, and Maximus. They came on land in the south of France in Les Saintes-Maries de la Mer, which means translated the Holy Marys that came from the sea. And Sarah and Mary Jacobi and Mary Salome, they stayed in Les Saintes-Maries de la Mer, while Mary Magdalene still went on north to Saint-Maximin-la-Sainte-Baume. And this is a very beautiful place. I went there already 5 times. In the crypta of the church is still the skull of Mary Magdalene. It is believed to be the skull. Some people say, no, it's a fake. Well, I meditate in this crypta for hours. And I have to say, the atmosphere, the energy is quite genuine. Also in this crypta is buried Sidonius and Maximus and Lazarus. And that is in Saint-Maximin La Sainte-Baume. And the holy mountain, La Sainte-Baume, is not far away. And there, Mary Magdalene lived for another 30 years after fleeing from the Holy Land, this whole group that I told you about. And in that cave where she lived, which she called the Oil Cave, she even came across Druids, because La Sainte-Baume, that mountain, was the southernmost mountain of the Druidic tradition. As you know, they go all the way to northern France and even to England. One of the main centers of the Druid tradition was Glastonbury. And it's another interesting story. Mary Magdalene was often dressed in green sleeves. And it is believed by the Druids and by tradition that that melody of the song Lady Greensleeves goes back to Mary Magdalene. So if you ever had a liking for that melody of Lady Greensleeves, maybe you have a connection with Mary Magdalene. However, the text of that song is a love song text, a medieval love song text. So the melody is much older than the text that was later put on top of Lady Greensleeves. Why did Mary Magdalene wear green sleeves? She said that working with the plants, the green color put her much more in syntony with the plants, and she could harness the powers of the plants much more and work much better with the plants. So let's go on. We could talk endlessly about that, but I'm sure you want to hear about some others as well. And the others here are the Norns. The Norns, that's another fascinating thing, actually from the Nordic tradition, from Scandinavia. In Norse mythology, the Norns, called Nornir in Old Norse, are female beings, divine female beings who determine fate. Like St. Catherine with her sword, with the broken wheel of life, is said to determine fate in the night of St. Catherine, which is why divination is very easy to do in this particular night from 24th to 25th of November. And also, of course, the goddesses, Durga, Kali, Saraswati, and Lakshmi. And here we have the Norns, female beings who are believed to be divine, who determine fate, and some of whom are said to descend directly from the gods, similarly like Durga, while others derived from dwarfs and elves. Within Indo-European religions, and that's quite interesting, Indo-European, that connection between India and Europe, which you see here in these very similar legends and mythologies, they are related to the Roman Parse. Parse, I'll highlight it, and to the Greek Moors. The Greek Moors. So you see the same basic thought of holy women, particularly three holy women appearing here, there, and everywhere. And usually they are virgins. Usually they are aloof from men. They don't find men very attractive. And usually they had great healing powers and they had a great spirit. So what does this tell us? If we come back to the night of St. Catherine and what we are going to experience now during this night. It's a night of reflection. It's a night of meditation. It's a night of introspection. It's a night of watching for signs, which dreams come, which energies come, which thoughts come, which emotions come. But the night does not end in the morning. Actually, it ends only at sunset on 25th. So it's basically a 24-hour period. And it is said if you spend this time in really looking inside and introspection and divination and becoming more clear about yourself, who you really are, then this is an ideal time to find your inner strength. And this is a perfect time to prepare for the new year. This is the first of the fateful nights or nights of fate that actually in tradition are called nights of lot, but you won't find that term anywhere. Most people know only about lottery or about that's your lot, but the nights of lot, that term has been lost. So now let's go to work. We start with sacred frankincense, and of course we are using the essential oils of Young Living, as we will be using also in the Essential Holy Nights from 21st of December to 6th of January. And you first start with aromatic inhalation right from the bottle. Aromatic inhalation of oils is actually the classical form of aromatherapy, and believe it or not, the most potent one. Why? Because through the nose, the oil goes to all the brain centers, higher brain centers, limbic system, central nerve system, and it really has the strongest effect. Even if you would put the oil on your hands and you activate it, we call it activating, turning it 3 times clockwise, and then inhaling from it. What you're inhaling from your hands smells differently than what you are inhaling directly from the bottle. Why? Because your biochemistry, your skin interacts with the oil immediately, and you will notice the oil smells different from your hand than from the glass bottle. So breathe it deeply, and frankincense or sacred frankincense, I tell you a little bit about it right afterwards. By the way, here we have another beautiful picture of St. Catherine. Well, is it beautiful? She looks a little bit melancholic, but maybe that's the style of the art back then. Here you see her, by the way, with the palm leaf or the palm twig insect, quite interesting. So she was in sympathy with nature. And by the way, look at this. Not only Mary Magdalene was wearing green sleeves, also St. Catherine was wearing green sleeves, and she was well versed with the plants and with natural medicine. Okay, do we find anything else further down at her feet? Yeah, you see to her left, on our right, you see the wheel with the spikes on which she was tortured. Actually, it was 4 wheels. And interestingly, this wheel is not even broken. So this is what we can see here. Here it's mainly the palm twig and the wheel. So please take 1 or 2 drops of oil from sacred frankincense. And if you don't have sacred frankincense, use regular frankincense. Activate it 1, 2, 3 clockwise. Apply it on your crown first. Then on your, you don't see me. I have to put myself in the picture. I'm sorry. Let's do it like this, compromise. Okay, you activate sacred frankincense, the oil, apply it on the crown chakra, on your forehead, on your neck, just at the base of the skull, very important point, on your larynx, and in the center of your chest on your spiritual heart center. These 5 spots is enough. Of course, you can put frankincense or sacred frankincense all over, but these 5 spots are plenty. The crown, the forehead, the neck, the larynx, and the center of the chest. Now, please take the bottle of sacred frankincense or frankincense and start inhaling really deeply. And imagine that you are inhaling through the heart center, the spiritual heart center, deep, deeper, deepest inside, as if you were breathing in miles deep into an inner space inside you that is infinite. So, of course, geographically, your body, or in space dimensions, your body ends soon. But here in this heart breathing with the oil, you feel like it goes deep, deeper, deepest, miles and miles deep within. And then you exhale, and you exhale through the crown, and you imagine you are breathing out through the crown. And this upward going breath is connecting you with your source, with your highest source, with your source divine. If you like, you can, of course, apply another drop just on your crown and just on your heart center, spiritual heart center. But the main thing is now really that you stay inhaling from the bottle. You breathe in here, deep, deeper, deepest, and you exhale here, high, higher, highest. inhale through the center of your chest, deep, deeper, deepest. Exhale through your crown, top of your head, high, higher, highest. Inhale like you're inhaling into infinite inner space, deep inside your heart. Exhale like you are exhaling to high above your head, connecting you to the spiritual spheres. And please continue doing this inhalation through the heart, deep inside, and the exhalation through the crown, high above. Inhale, deep, deeper, deepest. Exhale, high, higher, highest. Inhale, deep, deeper, deepest. Exhale, high, higher, highest. Inhale through the heart, deep, deeper, deepest. Exhale through the crown, high, highest. All the while, you are breathing sacred frankincense, and you're just taking in the scent, you're just taking in the atmosphere, you're just taking in the energy while you continue doing this form of breathing. Now, what is it good for, will you ask? Well, deep inside, we have what is called the soul, or the divine spark, or the self. It's something Jesus speaks about when he says, the kingdom of heaven is nearer to you than hand and feet. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So this is what we mean here, and it's like an infinite space, that kingdom of heaven within you. But then again, we have our Creator above and beyond, high above our crown chakra. You know that even the Holy Spirit, the flame of the Holy Spirit, appears above the heads of the apostles at Pentecost. So God, the origin, the creator of all that exists, high above, far beyond, above and beyond. And still, by this form of breathing, we are connecting with the divinity within us and with the Creator above us. This is, by the way, an excellent technique together with frankincense when you do any kind of prayer, when you do any kind of meditation, when you do any kind of introspection. But here, it is just the preparation, because the real thing comes now. And as you remember, the night of St. Catherine is a night of foretelling, a night of lot, a night of oracle. And we use the oil cistus. And cistus, also called rose of Sharon, is a rocky rose that grows in the southern region of the Mediterranean. And it has a scent of truth. In fact, it is the preferred oil of those who see the truth, seers, as well as of prophets. And prophecy and seeing was often done in connection with cistus. So now that you have opened your channels deep into your heart and then high above your head, now we go in the second stage to cistus, and we are inhaling this scent of prophecy, this scent of truth telling. And with each breath, feel what a scent does, what your breath does. Naturally, you can also apply cistus on these two spots, the heart center in the center of your chest and the crown center on top of your head. If you wish, of course, you can put on your forehead. But really, cistus is all about the heart, your inner truth, your inner strength, your inner divinity, and high above the divine truth. Also, you can inhale from your hands if you wish. Or you can do the aromatic application right from the bottle, which is classic aromatherapy. The main thing about it is do it at least for 3 to 5 minutes. Most people I know, they smell a little, 10 seconds later, they put the bottle down. Real aromatherapy is minimum 3 to 5 minutes concentrated, inhaling and absorbing right from the bottle. If there's one thing you take away from that video and which really will change your life if you adhere to it, is doing this in the morning and in the evening with an oil of your choice. 3 to 5 minutes direct inhalation will change your biochemistry, will change your neuroplasticity, your brain will grow, will change your nerves, will change your energy, will change your happiness. So, this is the fragrance of truth. And it's been used by prophets of old to see, to foretell, but most importantly, to know truth. Of course, it's nice to know the future, but the real precious thing to know is truth. And so, Cistus is not just a fragrance of prophecy, it is a fragrance of truth, and it is regarded as only inferior to frankincense. These are said to be the highest oils. Frankincense, particularly sacred frankincense, which can connect you to the highest, to the absolute, to the spheres of light, and Cistus, which can connect you to your inner truth, to your inner strength. Now that you have done it once, I ask you, when you go to bed tonight, do it a second time. First with sacred frankincense and then with Cistus. By the way, that's still an old bottle with the old label. And then in the next morning, when you get up on the 25th of November, first thing you do a third time this exercise with sacred frankincense and then with Cistus. Until sunset on the afternoon of 25th of November, watch carefully, observe what impulses come, what happens, who crosses your path, which incidents take place, which dreams do you have, which thoughts come up. Because all this, what happens in this period between sunset of 24th to sunset of 25th of November, are signs and portents. And with these two oils and with the technique that I showed you, inhaling, exhaling through these two gates, you will go into a very perceptible state where you will notice more than you have noticed or observed before. I hope you like it. And please write in the chat if it helped you, or write in the chat if you didn't like it. Write in the chat if you like the scent of cistus or of sacred frankincense. And also, what interests me, is it possible for you to even imagine to inhale here and to exhale here? Because, of course, you will inhale and exhale normally through your nostrils or your mouth. It's just an imagination to breathe in here, deep, deeper, deepest, and to exhale here, high, higher, highest. So how did you feel about doing this breathing? Carita Morales, fantastic. That is true. Your name, Caritas, Carita, care, which means love. Love is care and care is love. Caritas, Carita is love. Okay, and you are, of course, in Thailand, I believe, or in Malaysia. You are in Thailand. I'm sorry telling this when it's already early morning in Asia. Still, it's still on St. Catherine's Day because it goes all the way till sunset on the 25th. So you can still use these techniques. Great. Carita, just by doing this technique, you feel you are already receiving some truth. I love it. And yes, of course, you are in Thailand. Laureline says, thank you. I wish you could see the picture of my dog and kitten with their feet off, stretched out, listening to. That's fantastic. Yeah, and Laureline, I was thinking today for hours about Pat McLean. For hours, because the last time I spent with Pat McLean, 5, 6, 7 hours, was in Sir Maximin La Sainte Bombe. We were together in the crypta of Mary Magdalene. Then we ate lunch. We ate an ice cream. It was a lovely June summer day together with her husband, Michael. And she was so strongly present today, Pat. It was absolutely amazing. I think she's also among us right now as we are having this live stream. And having this live stream to Thailand, to America, to Germany, we are on 3 continents at least. Yeah, she has that effect. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go on. What else do we have? I have to make the presentation bigger again. So you are invited to participate in the 12 Essential Holy Nights, design, create, and manifest your upcoming year using ancient secret rituals. It's now more than ever important that we take our fate, our lot, into our hands. We live in a time of radical change, and each one of us has an impact. Each one of us makes a difference. So the Essential Holy Nights take place from 21st of December till 6th of January. And we always have some who also participate in the whole Essential Holy Nights year. And the Essential Holy Nights year goes from 7th of January. So the moment we are out of this portal that are the 12 Essential Holy Nights, we are moving into the year, and we have additional meetings each month till the next winter solstice comes along. So basically, outside of these portals, or this big portal, which is the Holy Nights, the year actually happens from 7th of January till 20th of December. And I'll give live streams. If you just participate in the Essential Holy Nights, it's 15 live streams because we have 2 preparatory meetings. Then we have 12 meetings for the 12 Holy Nights. And then we have the final one, the 15th one, which is Epiphany, the 3 Kings night, the night of the 3 wise men from the East. And then we have 12 more for each month of the year if you're participating in the Essential Holy Nights year. The link is there. And when I'm finished with the live stream, because I'm streaming to various Facebook groups, and I'm streaming to LinkedIn, and I'm streaming to YouTube, so I will post the link later on. Also, if you're a participant already, and you started in 21 or 22, 23, then it's still valid because you have a 3-year ticket. But if you started already in 2020, then now would be your 4th year, then you would have to renew your ticket. and I will create some repeater code, some repeater bonus that you pay a much smaller price if you're a repeater and you want to go for another 3 years. But I think most of you are good because you started in 21 or 22 or 23 and you have 3 years. Now, what are we dealing with? Here is just a selection of the 47 essential oils and oil blends that we'll be using in the 12 essential holy nights and throughout the holy night year. And these oils really have an effect. They really change you, especially in the way we are using them, because we have different ways of using them for each oil, basically, to really maximize the impact the oils have on you. So if you would like to register, that's the link. I will post it as soon as the live stream is finished in the various locations where this is streaming live. And if you click on that link, then this page will open up and you scroll down that page and then you find the 3 categories. There's 3 ways to participate. Just the 15 days or the 15 plus the 12, the 27, that's the whole year in addition to the holy nights. And there's even a third option for those who wish to be counseled personally. And you will see that the basic price is $97, which is amazing for 3 years and 45 meetings if you just have the basic version with 15 meetings times 3, 45 meetings. So it's a lot of value. Basically, it's just like $2.10 per meeting. And probably, well, you get additional, you get the Nights of Fate right now for free anyway. And this will not be the last. This is just the first. We have the other 5 Nights of Fate coming up. So write down the date. 29th to 30th of November is the next one. St. Andrew, Love and Connection. 3rd to 4th of December is St. Barbara, Hope and Protection. Then the 4th night is 5th to 6th of December, St. Nicholas, Faith and Freedom. 12th to 13th of December, the darkest night, St. Lucia, Darkness and Light. And finally, just before winter solstice, St. Thomas, 20 to 21st of December. And that night signifies the end of the old year, and with winter solstice, the beginning of the new year. And again, a reminder, it's from sunset to sunset. So these nights are basically from sunset to sunset. I know it's a little bit confusing. It's not just the night, it's also the day. It's basically a 24-hour period. And I hope to see you also in these 5 next live streams. They're all for free for you. You can invite your friends. I will leave them posted wherever you're seeing them now. And I'll put the link down below. So those of you who would really like to go on to do the journey, you can join the 12 Essential Holy Nights, or even the 12 Essential Holy Nights from 21st to 6th of January. And on top of it, the Essential Holy Nights here. So remember, what do you do before you go to bed? You do this ritual one more time with sacred frankincense and with cistus. What do you do when you get up in the morning on the 25th? You do this ritual with these 2 oils a 3rd time. And watch, observe. And if you're living in Thailand, if you're living in Hong Kong, if you're living in Malaysia, and it's already the 25th, no harm. You are in the morning of the 25th. Do it a 2nd time at noon, and do it a 3rd time at sunset. This is still within the Catherine energy, the energy of St. Catherine's Day. Thank you so much. Bye for now.